Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it happens to be your very first time here. My name is Troy, and what you guys are going to see in today's video is a small list of high quality dividend stocks that I think you guys need to check out ASAP. So in addition to every single stock I talk about in today's video, having an ex-dividend date of next week, which means if you guys buy the stock before the ex-dividend date, you'll be in line for the next dividend. I really don't hear many of these stocks talked about on any other channel, so that's a plus too. If this series is interesting to you and you have a good memory, you can remember that this series comes out on my channel every single Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, or you can just subscribe and ring the bell and YouTube will do the reminding for you. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into number 5 on this week's list, which is Plute Group, stock ticker PHM. Including today's video, this is now the 4th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including 4 selections in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about this stock on June 14th of 2024, PHM is underperforming over the past 9 or so months, but let's check out the numbers on this one and take a peek at its longer term performance right here. PHM is a quarterly payer in the consumer discretionary sector, paying 88 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.82%. PHM has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 8 years. It has a 3-year dividend growth rate of 12.89%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 12.76%, and a payout ratio at just 6.06%. Now, at the time of recording, Plute Group was trading 27.8% off of their 52-week high, so possibly an opportunity here. They have an ex-dividend date of March 18th with a payout date of April 2nd. And looking at this chart over the past 10 years, if you would have put a $10,000 lump sum investment and only reinvested the dividends they gave you in return, PHM would have turned into $57,648.01, which outperforms the S&P 500 by $24,728.48 in the same time frame. Next up, and coming in at number 4 on this week's list, is Turning Point Brands, stock ticker TPB. Including today's video, this is actually the first time I'm ever talking about this stock right here on my channel, so let's go ahead and dive into these numbers. TPB is a quarterly payer in the consumer staples sector, paying 30 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.49%. TPB has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 8 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 8.38%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 9.24%, and another low payout ratio at just 8.49%. Now, at the time of recording, Turning Point Brands was trading 15.52% off of their 52-week high, so another possible deal. They have an ex-dividend date of March 21st with a payout date of April 11th, and looking at this chart, over the past 8.83 years, TPB would have turned their $10,000 investment, while only reinvesting dividends since, into $63,938.80, which outperforms the S&P 500 by $31,550.80 in the same 8.83 years. Next up on this week's list, first one on the podium, coming in at number 3 is Vistra, stock ticker VST. Including today's video, this is now the 4th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including 2 selections in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about this one, on March 15th of 2024, VST is crushing the S&P 500 over the past year and has a similar story long term, so let's check that out. VST is a quarterly payer in the utility sector, paying 89 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.78%. VST has been paying and growing its dividend over the past 6 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 22.06%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 16.89%, and that's sustainable because the payout ratio is sitting at just 11.43%. At the time of recording, Vistra was trading 42.79% off of their 52-week high. Keep in mind, I just said this one's crushing over the past year, and it's down over 42% in the past year. But anyway, the ex-dividend date on this one is March 20th with the payout date of March 31st. And looking at this chart over the past 8.42 years, that's the longest the history goes out, VST would have turned that $10,000 investment into $99,798.80. Mind you, that's including that huge drop I just talked about, which outperforms the S&P 500 in the same time frame by $69,101.62. With that being said, we're past halfway in today's video. If you guys haven't already, please drop a like on the video as it helps me continue to grow my channel. And if you guys really want to help me grow the channel, use that comment section down below. You guys can let me know what you guys think of the list, if you guys own any of the stocks on the list, or you can just say hi. But now let's get to number 2. Next up, and coming in at number 2 on this week's list, is Ares Management, stock ticker ARES. Including today's video, this is now the 5th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including 5 selections in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about it, which was March 8th of 2024, Ares is slightly outperforming over the short term. So let's see these metrics and long-term performance right here. Ares Management is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $4.48 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 2.89%. Ares Management has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 6 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 25.55%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 23.79%, and a payout ratio a little bit higher than I like at 67.79%, so do your own research right there. At the time of recording, Ares Management was trading 22.71% off of their 52-week high, another opportunity. They have an ex-dividend date of March 17th with a payout date of March 31st. And looking at this chart, we're back to a 10-year time frame. Ares Management would have turned their $10,000 investment into $122,837.12, which outperforms the S&P 500 by $89,917.59 over the past 10 years. Next up, and coming in at number 1, the stock you must know about going into next week is Broadcom, stock ticker AVGO. Including today's video, this is now the 11th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including 9 selections in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about this one, in episode 1 on June 17th of 2022, AVGO is absolutely destroying the market since my first mention, and I can't wait to dive into these numbers and long-term performance. Broadcom is a quarterly payer in the technology sector, paying $2.36 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.21%. Broadcom has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 15 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 13.36%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 14.15%, and a payout ratio of 30.51%. Now, at the time of recording, Broadcom was also trading 22.6% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of March 20th with a payout date of March 31st. And if you look at this chart, over the past 10 years, Broadcom would have turned a single lump sum $10,000 investment into $201,230.94, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $168,311.41. With that being said, I want to say thank you guys so much for continuing to watch and support this series, but I do want to let you know, if you guys happen to be watching this after March 17th of 2024, there's a strong chance that you guys missed the ex-dividend date for some of these great stocks, which means you now need to wait 3 long months before you get paid from any of these companies. And Sweet Brown says,
ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, you definitely already missed the ex-dividend date for every stock I mentioned in last week's list, but nonetheless, there's still 5 super high quality dividend stocks. So if you need more ideas, go check that out right here. But until next time, see ya.